Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lizzie and I'm a third year medical student. Today I'll be sharing with you my top 10 resources for new medical students. Now, I have divided these resources into 3 sections. First, I'll talk about those that help me acquire new medical information. Secondly, I will talk about those that help me prep and study for exams. And lastly, I'll talk about those that help me with clinical skills and reasoning. In medical school, there is so much to learn and it can seem unsurmountable. But having go-to resources that help you streamline that process can be extremely beneficial. So here are my 4 favorite resources for acquiring new medical information, particularly those of basic science such as pathology, physiology, and pharmacology. So number 1, Osmosis. Osmosis provides a large video library about the major organs of the body. What it does, and what it does very effectively, is present complex information about pathology, physiology, and pharmacology in very easy to understand short videos. These videos are animated with cartoons so that it is easy to follow and understand. So what I like to do is watch Osmosis videos before lectures, as they help me get a good overview of that particular disease or disorder. So, as a particular example, before a cystic fibrosis lecture that I had in first year, I watched the cystic fibrosis video on Osmosis. And this video was only 8 minutes long, but it already gave me a really good foundational understanding of what the disorder was about. So that when I went to lecture, I had that foundational knowledge and I was able to pick up concepts much faster and easier. Now, Osmosis also offers high yield notes, practice questions, and even a modifiable and personalized study schedule. So unfortunately, because of all those great things that it offers, it is not free. However, you can get a free 2-week trial, so I highly recommend doing a trial before dishing out any money. If you would like a referral code for the 2-week free trial, be sure to check out the video description below. And last piece of advice is, if you are going to buy an Osmosis subscription, I would highly recommend not buying it at full price. Osmosis, I have found, offers tons of sales. Like every other day they offer a new sale, and it's often a 50%. So if you're willing to wait, I would wait so that you can get it at a lower price. Number 2, Sketchy Medical. Sketchy Medical is an amazing website that includes both Sketchy Micro and Sketchy Pharm, or in other words, Sketchy Microbiology and Sketchy Pharmacology. And the reason why this website is so amazing is because it provides a series of cartoon videos that provide each bacteria or drug a short story. And that short story is really fun and easy to memorize. And what it does, it uses the same cartoons over and over in different videos to represent a particular aspect of that drug or bacteria. And therefore, these cartoons are used as memory aids. What I would recommend is that you take a look at one of the free available Sketchy Micro videos on YouTube and take a look at how it works, because it provides a short story behind it. So honestly, it is really easy to memorize, and it really helps in remembering obscure details that you would not have otherwise remembered. Now, it may seem silly to think that you can learn medical information through cartoons, but honestly, it works, and it's actually kind of fun. So whenever I'm in a rut and I'm just done with studying, or I think I'm done with studying, I open up Sketchy Micro or Pharmacology and I just watch their videos. So it makes learning a little bit more enjoyable. Before buying a subscription to this, I would highly recommend trying it out for yourself to see if it works for you. Number 3, pathoma. So pathology is a really big part of medicine, so it's really important to have a go-to resource for learning pathology. So just to give you an overview, Pathoma is a website that is available with a paid subscription. Now, I know that all of these things do add up, but I promise you that Pathoma is well worth it and well worth every penny. So what Pathoma does, it offers 35 hours of instructional videos over 19 different chapters. Each chapter focuses on a particular body system, so for example, the GI system, and breaks it down into different sections. And you can follow it along with the book that comes along with it. So when you pay for your subscription, you get a physical book and you can highlight it and go over it. It's fantastic that way. And it follows along the videos that you watch. I really like having a physical book to write on, and it's really thin so you can easily carry it with you anywhere you go. Now, what's really fantastic about the Pathoma website and the book is that the information presented is super high yield. There is no extra fluff that you need to filter through. And so if you have an upcoming pathology exam or studying for the USMLE, Pathoma is a really great resource. Number 4, Human Anatomy Atlas app. So before starting medical school, I only took an introductory anatomy course in my undergrad. So I therefore needed a really good resource to help me both learn about the human anatomy, but also allow me to visualize different anatomical structures. Now, there are really good anatomy textbooks out there, but they're huge and really heavy. However, having an app on your phone allows you to take that information on the go. So what I did is I downloaded the Human Anatomy Atlas app, and what it allows me to do is visualize the entire human body, isolate particular parts of the body, and I can manipulate them. So I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can isolate them, I can rotate them, and that allows me to really understand and visualize that anatomical structure in relation to the rest of the body. Number 5, the USMLE First Aid book. So this book is essential. If there is one physical book you buy, it should be this one. And this is even if you don't attend an American medical school or are planning on writing the USMLE. The reason why I think this book is so fantastic, regardless of what medical school you go to, is because A, it was written by medical students for medical students, so it is filled with fun mnemonics and memorization tips. B, it contains the majority of all high yield information from your preclinical years, all in one book. And C, it is a really useful revision guide that you can carry with you along your preclinical years. And lastly, D, it is relatively inexpensive so far as medical textbooks go. For example, you can get it for $60 on Amazon, whereas other medical textbooks cost upwards of $200. So a little bit of information about the book itself. It is 700 pages long. It is divided into different body organ systems, and it is filled with tables and pictures so that it provides all this high yield information in a very concise and easy to understand manner. All right, number 6, MedFlashGo Podcast. So it can get really tiring and boring reading all day from your computer. So it can be quite nice to break up your studying with a different method, such as with podcasts. So what this podcast does, it presents just one question over 4 minutes. So there's no episode that is over 4 minutes, which makes it really easy to listen to. Because even if you're on the go and you're on a short walk, you can listen to at least one podcast. So again, what it does, it presents one question, then it takes the time to explain the answers or the different answers that were presented. And the two guys that run this podcast are very charismatic and have a really great way of explaining difficult concepts. If you're studying for the USMLE or just want a different way to study for exams, I highly recommend this podcast, as you can take it on the go, so you can listen to it while you're commuting. It's just a fantastic way to break up your studying and still be productive and efficient. Number 7, Anki. So most of you have probably already heard of Anki, but for those of you that are not familiar with it, what Anki is, it's a free computer software that allows you to make your own flashcards or use someone else's pre-made flashcards. Now, the concept of flashcards may seem really simple, but it honestly works. What Anki does, it uses spaced repetition to maximize memorization. Now, I have some medical friends that they only use Anki to study for all medical exams, and they tend to do really well. However, I still like to make my own handwritten notes on my iPad to study for exams, but I do use Anki to study for pathology and anatomy exams. Now, this is because with Anki, you can include images. So you can have an image of the GI system and include different parts of it so that you can yourself memorize different anatomical structures. So it is great for spot tests, for example. Now, there are many free YouTube tutorials on how to use Anki, as it can take some time to get familiar with it. So I highly recommend checking those out if you're keen to learn how to use it. Alternatively, you do not have to make your flashcards. You can use other people's flashcards, which can save you a lot of time. So what I would recommend is talking to upper year friends who may have practice decks that they're willing to share. Otherwise, be sure to check out Reddit for Zanki's flashcard deck. It contains hundreds of flashcards that goes over USMLE prep material. Number 8, Pass Medicine. Now, Pass Medicine is a free website that provides practice questions for medical students. It's an amazing resource that is surprisingly free, so I would definitely take advantage of this resource. What it does, it provides a wide array of practice questions. These practice questions are divided into different body organ systems. So you can actually select which body organ system you want to study. For example, if you just want to study the GI system, you can select that. And then you can also select whether you want to study just for pathology or pharmacology. Now, I do find that this website provides difficult but good questions which adequately prepare me for medical school exams. Each practice question usually provides a clinical stem, which is a great way to practically apply your basic science knowledge into a clinical scenario. And I do find that medical school exams usually use this type of question, where they first present a clinical scenario and embedded in that is a question. So it's just a really good way to practice for those exams. Number 9, geekymedics. So depending on your medical school, you may not get tested on clinical skills right away. However, if you attend a school like mine where you get tested on OSCEs and clinical exams right away, it can seem quite daunting to prepare for such an exam with limited patient exposure. So having a go-to resource for clinical learning and skills is really beneficial. I have found that geekymedics provides a great guide for preparing for clinical exams and histories. If you would like to check them out, geekymedics does offer free videos on YouTube, which provide instructional videos on how to conduct a particular history or clinical exam. For example, the lower limb neurological exam. And actually watching how other students would conduct a clinical exam is really, really beneficial, as you can emulate how they phrase things and even provide instructions to the patients. Geekymedics also offers a phone application. However, that is not free. But it is only $12 for a 1-year subscription, and I do find that it is worth the money, and it's really useful to take it on the go and practice. So this phone application provides the same instructional videos, but it also provides written instructions, and it provides a timer so that you can time yourself for a clinical exam. Usually in OSCEs, you have 8 minutes to conduct a particular history or clinical exam. And there's so many things that you need to go through. So having practice with that timer is really beneficial. Alternatively, you can also go to geekymedics.com and check out their website. It does provide the same videos and more, and you can sign up for free. Number 10 and very last resource is Talley and O'Connor's clinical examination book. Now, as you move from your preclinical years to your clinical years, or the last 2 years of medical school, you begin your clerkship. So it is really important to know your clinical information and to acquire clinical skills. My go-to resource for all this information is Talley and O'Connor's clinical examination book. It provides a really good overview of different disorders, how to conduct clinical examinations, and what to look for. However, this book is quite expensive, and it is a 2-part book, so it is difficult and heavy to carry around with me all the time. So what I have done is I have downloaded in my iPad to have it on the go. When you're in clerkship, you will learn that there is a lot of downtime, and you're not always engaged with patients or with particular tasks. So during that downtime, it is really important to still be productive. So having that book on your iPad really helps you, fill in those knowledge gaps and fill in your time effectively. The book is divided into body systems, and so it's for easy reference. So for example, if you're in your GI block, you can go to the GI section and look for different or particular clinical examinations or histories. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And please let me know what kind of other videos you would like to see. Thanks, bye.